stage, they would come up and they would give you a horrible like zima that was warm. And they never told you how they warmed it up, but they seemed to always pull it out of their pants, which is weird. But I stopped drinking alcohol a while ago, so for me, they started giving me VH that was warm, and that's when I got addicted to it. So Dave's around here, you got me hooked on VH.
Is it at least the spicy V8?
It was, but I kind of, it's late in the evening. I'm doing original because I love my wife. So
that makes a lot of sense. Why there's like a case of VH back there. I was really wondering about that. But
you got to get the mic a little closer. Kiss it. Kiss it.
You're just louder than
See, it's not me, Wade. John's saying it's you.
it's Ryan.
Oh, wait, you're loud too.
Sound good.
Is this the news? Or do we start in like 8 minutes?
This is a pre-show band.
Dude.
Run away! Wow, imagine being such a Sasquatch that John Strand runs off stage to greet you. Maybe that's John's dad.
There are humans out there. It looks like, yes. I see signs of life. Intelligence remains to be proved.
John squared.
I'm not on either.
We're like,
Turn Kelly up.
there another mic.
So to speak.
It's gonna be a good night.
Here's how this is going to work. We're just going to read anything that pops up on the screen.
Welcome
I'm
Just go on,
West,
Jermaine.
Hackenfest.
This is how it's teleprompter.
2024.
Wait.
Okay, John, you owe us an explanation.
That's John and Ham. He's like my brother from another mother.
We got posted his name.
Well, apparently, there's our monitor.
Make up the news.
So there's a hack out there for WordPress.
So okay. Spoilers, but Adobe.
Wait a minute. Hacking for WordPress is news?
No, Adobe. It's Adobe.
I thought I heard.
What is this? 2008?
Yes, it is. And spoiler, it's patch. It was already patch.
Of course.
But anyway.
Yesterday was Patch Tuesday. There was a lot of messes.
You should just make up. What happened during Patch Tuesday? Everyone patched. No issues were caused. Nothing broke.
Oh, I mean, there was that one. Took down like all the banks.
Oh, okay.
Do you not?
I don't know. No.
Turn
Yeah.
Kelly up more. Turn it up.
Turn me up.
This is gonna be a good night.
Number 8, number 5. Maybe up more.
I can just point this at you from here and it's louder than your mic.
That's a lot of gain.
It's more just like
This is microphone 1.
my mic is always super quiet. I still haven't been able to figure it out yet.
How do we read the Discord? Do we just expect people to like write things on whiteboards and hold them up, or what?
They can come on stage and just tell us.
I don't know if we can heard that.
Actually, I have got something bring up. Late this afternoon, there was an announcement from the state's attorney general that there was a settlement on the Marriott breach. 49 attorneys general got $52 million from the Marriott breach. I don't know who the state that was left out on.
Hawaii.
Is it Hawaii?
It's South Dakota. No one here can afford.
There's no Marriott in South Dakota. They just stay in bars.
We're the state that looks up to Missouri for a lot of things. Sorry if you're from Missouri.
Wait, don't you literally look up to North Dakota?
Yeah, we look up to North Dakota. Good one. Yeah.
So the part that kind of made me excited was as part of their actions and in the after report is they've got to have assessments and audits for the next 10 years. As a follow-up.
That's pretty crazy.
And they put MFA in there as well, as part of their security program.
Kelly, why are you doing the news before?
Where's John Bevers? Can you fix this?
Dead air.
This isn't dead air, it's banter.
What's the deal with my quiet mic?
Yeah, we definitely need to level the levels.
Yeah.
We could do some show of hands stuff. Who showed up today?
Who did training? Raise your
Who did
hand.
training? Yeah. Woo! Good
Whose
job.
training was the best?
How are they going to answer that? This is a Boolean scenario. It's 1 or 0.
I don't know. I saw some of my students raise their hands, so that's
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, halfway serious question. How many people have never been to Wild West Hackin' Fest before? Show of hands.
Oh,
Yeah, give her a round.
Very cool.
hand for these people.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Your lives will never be the same.
We're a difference maker. We never said it was a good difference.
Speak for yourself.
Definitely not a good difference maker.
We
Definitely.
will have a bad influence on you.
And you'll love every minute.
Just so you know, it all gets better from here.
So,
It does.
Bronwyn, what are some things a new person would want to check out at Wild West Hackin' Fest?
Well, let's see.
What are these doors right here?
The Hall of Doors.
Those are real fake doors.
Those are real doors?
Real thing.
Real, authentic, genuine fake doors.
That sounds like something you'd read on Main Street.
So the Hall of Doors is where you can test your lock picking and physical penetration skills. There are going to be lots of sponsors around, people who help make this event possible, friends who have been coming here and supporting us for years. So please, please do take some time and visit them. And also there's an ulterior motive that someone will get into later, but I'm not going to spill the beans too much. There's the general store, if you haven't had a chance to pick up additional swag. And
There's CTF.
okay,
We have technical issues, so just bear with us.
What?
yes.
I'm a little.
What
bit-
happened is Ryan applied the patch from Patch Tuesday, and so
Oh.
everything's broken.
Dale is going through and he's adjusting the mics right now, and we have to be talking for him to adjust it.
Yeah, talk at once like we normally.
So what you would do is say yours is
Wait, what are you
weak.
talking about?
Corey, say yours is weak. What's the number on that?
6.
Dale, can we turn up mic 6 a little bit?
I'm good. I can. Oh my
You
god.
could probably come down.
Number
Right.
8.
Get away from those evil microphones and the evil feedback. All right. We still have a minute before we get started.
I heard
Testing.
So
One,
are
two,
we going to do Bo's music a cappella style?
I was the finger. I'm the hand going down.
Got the finger? Yeah.
What is that? Is that a laser noise that comes in at some point?
It is a laser sound, I think, that kind of starts a little bit when the hand first comes
Yeah,
up.
you're right. There is a laser.
Yeah. A little bit weird.
just miss the old finger.
Yeah.
weird
No,
thing.
no, there's someone out there that also misses the old finger. So. We can't really see you, just as a warning. We cannot see you. We're just gonna assume you exist, I think.
At this point. All right. Are we waiting on someone to kick us off, or?
I thought
Yeah.
it was actually going to have the news up here.
I don't know if
Yeah, we don't have a
Just wait for a go ahead.
who's putting this thing together. I just don't think
I think
he's doing a very good job.
Let me log into the Notion real quick.
Have you heard of Black Hills Information Security?
If you need to get hacked, think you're hacked. You're trying not to be hacked. Black Hills Information Security for all your hacking needs.
and TRC too.
News.
The Internet Archive is under.
Don't forget the TRC.
Catastrophe breach. Here you go.
Stop trying to do the news before we do the news.
It's
Yeah,
time.
we are.
Hey, actually reading the news is cheating.
Oh.
We got to make that shit up.
You remember
Yeah.
way west when we you read the news and it was like an AI generated news source?
That was horrible.
It was like, it was the best.
And all of it came true.
That was a different thing.
I could pull up ChatGPT and just ask it to give us some.
Yeah, give us some fake news stories, ChatGPT.
Real fake news.
No, I have a couple stories that I want to talk about. I think there are some good ones.
Yeah, there's-
Let's see
there's
what
some
else
good
we got
stuff.
them up.
I hope we can get the images working because there was a particular image of 2 hackers holding a baby cheetah. And I just, we have to show it there.
So,
And what about the air gap story? Did you guys?
Yes, he found the volume button.
That was a virtual gong hit, I think.
Yeah. It's just Kelly's microphone that does it, I guess. I don't know.
Was it Kelly or was it because you walked up there?
Is it you? Oh, I'm not.
All right, all right. One of the things we can do to assist is shut off your microphone when you're not talking.
They do take a second to turn on though, so.
About what
No, I don't
That
think
is-
on,
that is-
John.
It's not something I'm good at. Over.
No, John, we don't think on this show. We just say what we're feeling.
We're difference makers.
That's right, but it does help. You have this many microphones on a stage. It creates a lot of feedback. Over.
It does help if you say over.
Are we also saying over?
You don't have to say over. Just one over is fine. Over.
But the over was part of the sentence.
Is it over, or over, under, or Roger,
God.
Roger?
Why? This is so. By the way, if you're looking for a train wreck that's even worse than this, we will be doing Whose Slide Is It Anyway later, which is even more of a train. That guy gets it.
You come for the humor.
He's been to a lot of them.
Segues.
He doesn't remember any of them, but he just knows he's somehow involved in it. It's where the cool kids go at the end of the day.
Wait, are we allowed to go back there? Smoke cigarettes with the cool kids?
You can. Yeah, it's fine. Now, the gong is an improvement, actually. I actually like that. I love the fact that we have threat butt on it. It's pretty cool. All right. Okay. Waiting for somebody that's supposed to give us a feed, like a thumbs up that we're ready to go.
Thanks.
Excellent. All right. Oh, here comes Bevers. He's running. Don't run.
What is
Last year you ended up in the hospital.
At lifeguard school, they say you gotta go walk.
You know, there are a lot of people out there.
Oh, no.
I don't know, I can't
Look,
see anyone.
This is not what
I can't see anyone without the face shield here.
John, he's running again.
Good God, I'm God.
Oh, we had these stories.
Oh.
Shout out to Ryan for just always being behind the scenes and keeping us working, honestly.
This is the camera is very shaky. It's like Blair Witch Project.
Sorry guys, it's my first time on camera. I'm nervous.
Except all the people in Blair Witch were dating each other. No. All right, so we're good there.
Why are we looking at ourselves? Over.
I think it's a broadcast. Do you not look at yourself the whole time when we're doing the show? Do you?
No, I look at your hair.
Oh, I look at myself all the time. I'm like, how dumb do I look?
I do that every time. Every time. And that's why I hate it every time Ryan cuts to me. I'm like, oh my God, please take
I
it.
actually put a post-it note over myself because
But what if Ryan moves you around? Do you like frantically move the post-it note?
screen, I'm like, oh no.
I want to see a video of like you're trying to talk, but you're also trying to move a post-it note around your screen at the same time.
Like, I know I show up so that I can give input, and then I give input, and I go full screen. I'm like, oh man, I made a poor choice here.
Well, John took his microphone apart, so.
Sorry. All right, Bevers, are we ready? Who knows, he says.
We're waiting.
Then he did this, and I don't know what that means. Thumbs up, yes. Thumbs down, no.
Sound guys.
Ryan,
Oh, that's a
Ryan's
down.
there.
That's
Or
a down.
Here we go. All right, everybody. Thank you.
We got the
You're
double.
welcome. To
No, we
another
got the
edition.
double.
Huh?
Wasn't that the double?
Was that a down?
Yeah.
He's got tiny
John,
hands
you
from
need to
this
stick it
far
side
away. Pat your head, no. Hands up, yes.
Over.
Oh no, we got double.
All right, there we go. Hey, everybody, all joking aside, round of applause for the AV setting this stuff up, because seriously, they've been running ragged, getting everything ready to go for this conference and making it happen. And I know we give them a hard time, but they really make this stuff work. And seriously, where is Ryan? Like, I know.
Ryan, he's back.
Is he back there?
Again.
So can we get a round of applause for Ryan as well? Would appreciate that.
I do think he's actually the funniest one of all of us.
I need him to be part, like, it feels weird with him over there. I don't know. Usually he's like much closer on the screen. He's my infosec binky. He just makes me feel better that we're gonna be okay, but it's good to know he's virtually holding my hand. As we were joking before we actually got the mics, when we were much funnier, we are the Black Hills Information Security Talking About News podcast. We are now an award-nominated podcast.
Please don't vote for us.
Yes, so if you could do us all a
Stand cyber
favor,
bribery.
if you're watching this, I need you to go to, what is it, the Difference Makers Award? It's some institute has a website. They got difference makers. I need you to go to that website. I need you to go and vote. You got to vote now, and please vote for Jerry at Simply Cyber. I don't know if Jerry's around here.
I
Where's
believe he would have screamed like a little.
They have a,
we got him over there, so please do that for us because seriously, we don't want to travel any more than we have to. And he's young and he's got a lot of miles ahead of him. So we've got some news stories for this week. I just saw them pop up. The first news story that I want to talk about, I don't know if we actually have it in here, and we're going to make Ryan freak out. Did you guys see the, what is it, the former CISO of Uber?
Yeah.
They withheld a breach from the FTC, illegal, not allowed to do that, found guilty, but now he's trying an incredibly novel defensive approach. He's saying that it's all good because Uber had a bug bounty program. And because they had a bug bounty program, he did not have to legally disclose the breach because it was an ongoing bug bounty program. And I'm just thinking that's brilliant. I'm very impressed.
Okay.
with that
Are we
approach.
going
Go
to
ahead.
invent a bug ransom project?
Bug.
how are those two things
He didn't say it
related
was
at
a
all?
good bug bounty
Okay,
program.
how is getting breached and having a bug bounty program connected in any way?
Yeah.
Because they were informed and they were part of the process. So it wasn't a crime. That's the
So
angle.
wait, the breach was done through the bug bounty program?
Yeah.
No, that's the.
Since they reached out and said, hey, we've compromised your system, and he said, oh, here's some money, we're calling this a bug bounty, bye.
Oh, okay. So it was like retroactive bug bounty. It wasn't
So
actually.
are we now going to reclassify all ransomware as like bug bounty programs?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
Yes, any breach that happens after the fact becomes bug bounty program.
and you know what sucks is I actually think that this might work in front of a judge and a jury.
How do we make a
It can-
retroactive bug bounty program as a service company right now?
like,
Don't
It
know.
can only be a bug bounty if they pay the attacker.
Yeah, if they did.
Yeah, which
That's
If.
true.
So, okay, then you put sanctions on the bug bounty program and no one can ever
Russia
pay.
has a great bug bounty.
Great bug bounty programs. Them in North Korea, it's real solid. But if you think
China,
about this,
yeah.
we're joking about it because everyone in the room is like, oh, well, this is stupid. But imagine you're a judge, imagine you're a jury, you've just got to find reasonable doubt.
No, you just
And-
find two emails, one that says, here's the breach, and it's before the bug bounty was paid
No, the
out.
bug bounty was active. They had an active bug bounty
Right, but
program
like,
when the
isn't there
breach
gonna be
happened.
communications? Like the security researcher would have had to disclose the breach before, right?
I mean, that's what he
Like,
did.
I mean, are they like, oh, we have an email time machine, it's fine, like,
I think it's one of those stupid things that might work because I could see enough jurors to get confused enough about what's the difference between a hack and a bug bounty program and what's the rules behind it and just say, oh, all this hacking stuff is scary and let them get away with it.
Do we have any bug bounty like pros in here, like Jason or?
Yeah, do we have
Ben
any?
or-
Yeah, let's get somebody up here. Anybody do a lot of bug bounties? Like that's just kind of one of your jams? Come on up, come on up. Oh, no, never mind.
Oh, they're just.
wow, we got, no one's a bug bounty.
Pointing
All right.
at speakers. I don't know what they're
We
doing.
finally pushed Wild West Hacking Fest to a blue team conference. You're welcome.
No, it's, I failed. God damn it. I owe Jonathan Ham $5. So it's interesting to see if that gets away. So what other news stories do we have for this week? Let's bring up another one.
Okay, we got to do the one with the cheetah. I think it was evil. No, it was down. Sorry, Ryan. This is. We can cover this one. Evil Corp, a ransomware group, has been hit with new sanctions. I will say the most interesting part of this article for me is it actually does imply that organizations wouldn't pay the bounty or the ransom because it was sanctioned. Is that actually true? Like, are you allowed to pay a ransom payment to a sanctioned nation? Or is that Like, I guess this is a Kelly question. Sorry for putting.
Isn't that whole thing
It's-
just super gray, like paying out the bounties? I mean, we've
It's-
talked about
it's
this in the show.
complicated over.
Well, so in the article, it says that the middlemen or whoever that actually goes and pays the ransomware, we're like not working with them because they're sanctioned. And I didn't know that was the case. I thought they would
They're
just
on
pay
the
it either
sanction
way.
list, so now the people who are paying the in-between folks are criminals because they're going against the State Department's sanction list.
Well, but if I
I
read
mean-
that little tiny blip that before it disappeared, it looked like a lot of the people involved in Evil Corp were actually related to each other.
Yes, it was a
So
family
how do
company.
tell
You gotta love a family-run company.
It's a family business.
Yeah.
Former Spetsnaz officer in Russian FSB. Wow.
So
Can't get
I think it's going to be really interesting if people are trying to pay a ransom and they make them go through the entire government process, like set up on their Ariba portal, get logged in, provide your previous
What's your
12
tax
years financial
identification number?
statements.
You still only have to use an eight character password to get in.
Well, and the adversaries are aware of like the OFAC sanctions. So they'll just set up a wallet or some other payment system that's not OFAC sanctioned. I mean, they want to work with you to get that money. If you're a business that wants to pay in order to get your business back and get up and running, you know, a lot of them go OFAC sanctions. Like I'm either out of business and putting a lot of people out of jobs, or I pay the fines, or you just work with the adversaries. The adversaries go, well, we can help you out. We'll just spin up a new account that's not in the OFAC sanctions. And yeah, I mean, the State Department and the sanctions are coming back after the fact and going, okay, well, we investigated that wallet that you paid money to, and now it's OFAC sanctioned. And so there's a gray area there of like, well, can you get in trouble if you send money to something that's not OFAC sanctioned until 2 months after you sent that money?
And
But you're saying it was a bug bounty program.
they need a bug bounty program.
You're saying it was a bug bounty program that paid out the
I'm
money.
noticing a trend.
It's
We
fine.
need a new shirt. It was
but
a
this
bug
is-
bounty program.
Yeah,
So
but this
Evil
goes
Corp
back to,
just
we
is-
brought it up multiple times on the show where, you know, people get, like, you read some of these articles and you read the comments and there's always the thing, you should never pay because you're just supporting terrorism. And it's like, are you really telling companies to just go quietly die? I mean, just like what you were just saying, we cannot be starting from that position to be like, we're going to make it illegal for people to pay for these bounties and then just let these businesses or organizations die or let the data get breached. There's got to be a little bit better, like, I guess, empathy for the organizations that get hit for it.
Well, that's like the classic, speed. You don't pay the guy who's holding everyone hostage. Or, any movie where they're like, oh, no, you don't pay the ransom. At SEER school in the Air Force, they're like, don't worry, the Air Force will pay the the US government will pay the ransom. They'll get you back.
You're like, all right.
Sure.
Yeah,
I've seen
sure.
Independence Day and Air Force One, like Harrison Ford fought the guys and didn't pay the ransom. Like,
So to use a meme from the Discord, there's a job opening at one of the incident response firms for an intern that's good at paying sanctions. Or a ransom payment intern, maybe? We're looking for someone to help us make ransom payments to sanctioned countries. Must be qualified in Bitcoin and crime.
Corey, I think that meme creator is actually at the conference today. I think I saw him on Discord. I don't know if he's here.
Really?
Dan,
You
where
saw
are
him
you?
on Discord in real life? You have Discord vision?
You know what I meant.
Like you can see people's usernames over their heads? Come find us. Whoever you are, I love you.
Too many
Another
people
article.
here.
Find the
Another
cheetah one.
article.
The cheetah one was like at least 1 or 2 below the last one.
All right, what's the other stories we got? What do we got here?
Must have cheetahs, not
what-
Cheetos.
Yeah, the cheetah
Cheetahs.
one is good. I think it's unmasked. It's that one. Cops unmasked. Yeah. Just zoom in on that picture. You can't use, we need to see the picture. Okay.
Oh my
Those horrible
God.
hackers.
You
Okay.
guys,
Okay.
that-
I have to
Wait a
say,
minute.
Is that
Let's
is
look at those
adorable.
guys, they're
Like-
here.
what the hell?
okay.
I'll just pay the tiger ransom. Like,
Is that a tiger
They
or
need
is
a-
that a cheetah? I
Good
can't.
spot.
save this tiger, 1 Bitcoin.
Okay.
Did it get
Okay.
weird?
Yeah,
I,
I hear Sarah McLaughlin in my head right now.
Arms of an angel.
okay. So is there a fake commercial that's like, this is the result of cybercrime? Like a little baby tiger and then
I support this then. Like,
Wait,
I didn't even get to see the news.
Was that the
I just
point?
saw the
I don't even know what the
They
story
saw the
is. We got completely sidetracked by cat memes
I know.
because our brains are fried from the internet.
This is my.
Oh, there we go. There's the
Okay,
actual story.
so for those that don't know, yeah, this is a evil. We just talked about the family business of ransomware. But basically, this is Evil Corp. Two of the members have been unmasked along with the sanctions. But that image, I just wanted to think about being the CISO of a large company, and you're dealing with these people. They sound really intimidating. They sound really scary. They have all your data, or they, locked out your company. And then this article comes out, and you're just like, what have I done? I just sent these people $10 million. What did I do? Like,
You bought him a cheetah is what you did.
Yeah, they used that money to buy a cheetah, a poor defenseless cheetah who now is never gonna run free in the prairie.
I think we have a new meme there.
I just have Archer and Ocelot in my head. It's like,
Arch.
all right, next article. I just wanted everyone to see that because it's amazing. So we can talk about the Adobe thing. That was a good one. Also, the IT backdoor thing.
Yes,
Yep.
yes, we gotta talk about the back door.
The Adobe thing is not, it's kind of a
Enhance.
nothing, it's kind of a nothing burger. This isn't a huge deal, but basically this is something that was patched. I believe the security advisory came out in July, and then 4,000 sites were compromised like last week. So I guess the story is 4,000.
That's it.
Okay,
4,275.
sorry. I rounded down for some reason. Basically including Whirlpool, Ray-Ban, National Geographic, Segway, which would be a good segue, but
Worst attack wave in years.
yeah, I think they're overselling that a little bit.
Yeah.
well, it's retail, but I'm assuming it's like minor retail, not major retail.
Is the whole point of the story surprise some people don't patch their shit? Is
Yeah.
that?
Yep, that's the
it.
story.
That's where we're
But
at.
even in today, I will say, okay,
Hey,
the
someone
one
from
is-
Simply Cyber yell out the a Jerry voice like,
oh, you gotta patch it.
thanks, Wade.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's kind of weird though. This is serendipitous because the past week, I think I've had 3 or 4 tests where I've talked to the testers and they're a little bit despondent and they're like, they hit me up on Teams and they got like a bottle of Jack next to them. And I'm like, what's up? I'm like, oh, I just found this vulnerability. It's been there for like 10 years. And I don't know. What am I doing here? I looked at previous pen test reports and it was there. Like, even in our space, like there's people that are not patching their stuff on any type of regularity. That number seems low. Like it really does.
Well, okay, that's fair. I think that the interesting thing about it is I use these kinds of articles as fodder to tell people to patch. And the reason why is because this is an example. No one patched, or the people that didn't patch, they just exploited them all at once. Like, I think companies think there's some security through obscurity or whatever, but this is an example of like, they were public sites. No, the people that didn't patch, there was just some timer they didn't know about, and then they all got breached at the same time. I feel like that's kind of a unique, like, I don't know if this will be the new standard, but telling customers, this has been publicly disclosed for a month. Look at this example. Everyone's going to get breached in the next few months. So get in or get out. Like,
So this gets into an interesting conversation I had with somebody. I can't remember what conference it was. I'm pretty sure it was in Europe. Oh, it was Budapest, Hacktivity. And there was a reporter from Wired that was there. And when we sat down at the table and we started talking with him, he came up with this idea that I thought was crazy. And he said, we need to redefine 0 days. And he wanted to redefine 0 days as a 0 day is an exploit that has been unknown and there has been no patch with it. Which, okay, that's a 0 day.
Isn't that the
That's
definition of
fine.
zero?
But this is where it got different. He said that other exploits for things like this, it should be an end day. So whenever we're releasing these news stories, it should call like an end day with the number of days that it has been released and start classifying these as like 4,000 systems got hacked for something that had been patched for like 2-3 months. And I
Was
thought
a
it's kind of an
63
interesting
day.
approach.
Don't we just call it
Kind
a
of
CV?
do it, but he wanted to come up with some like naming convention for it because it was more putting the responsibility on the people that, hey, you just got hit by something that has been patched for 1,000 days. That's on you at that point.
And so for people who, like in some of the reports I've read this week, who had CVEs get popped that were from 2015, that's going to be a seriously large number.
Okay, I hear you, but let me play devil's advocate for a second. We were talking about Microsoft Patch Tuesday, and one of the 0 days in there is for IE11. And you're gonna be saying, really? Insert eye roll here. But if you're in the medical space, you can't get rid of IE11. They won't let you yet. So we can sit here and eye roll and say, why aren't you patching things yet? But in the real world, we have to talk about risk mitigation.
See, but I think it's even more powerful because I think you're 100% correct. But I think it's even more powerful because with all of these organizations that we test, and they're like, well, we have to use IE11, or they say we have to use AS400, or we have to use Solaris Spark 9. I think that the conversation needs to shift around to we can't patch that, to when, right? You're going to have to replace this at some point. You cannot go forever going on eBay and trying to find spare parts for a Spark system, because at some point eBay is going to run out. And it's very difficult because you're 100% correct. We run into customers all the time that are like, nope, we can't fix that. What's your plan to fix that? No, we don't have any plan to fix that.
Oh, there's an excellent story on things that are not being patched and not being updated. It's in the news article for like if you would think of things that need to be patched and tested annually, one of the things that would come to mind would be like a nuclear facility. So there's a news article. I don't know if we're bringing that one up or not, but a news article for like a nuclear facility that is, I think the security researcher, there we go.
There we go.
They're fined for cybersecurity failings. And with this article, I was also thinking that like the key thing on a lot of like security articles is you go about 75% down the line, and then you find like the main, scroll down a little bit more because you have that main failing is.
It's bad when they refer to you as one of the most complex and hazardous nuclear sites in the world.
Well,
I think
does-
it's down a little bit more.
Oh, there's more? Let's go down. That's bad.
Yeah, so it's right there. They included failing to carry out annual security checks despite assuring the ONR that it had done so. So kind of looping back around to, yeah, you can just lie and say you're not doing any of the security things that are necessary, not doing the patches, or like John said, you're just trying to go on eBay to find physical security controls for a nuclear facility.
And I think tying it back to the first story, this is what scares me is like with Uber, we finally saw somebody that was kind of being held to account, even though he didn't spend any time in prison. It was all on probation. And you never see the people behind these things end up in prison. Like that's so negligent. That's so dangerous that somebody made that choice. There really should be prison involved at that level. I mean, if I lied on my taxes, you know, even close to that, I'd probably be in jail.
So what you're saying is our slogan should be get a pen test or you might end up in prison?
Okay. I think I backed myself into a hole on that one. So you're saying don't test anything and we're fine. No. Who's got the shirt? I've seen multiple people, no logs, no crime. You know, there's no proof of anything that's happened.
Yeah.
I don't have packets. I don't have logs. There's no proof it didn't happen.
Well, no, it's fine. It was a bug bounty. It's fine.
But we have a bug bounty program.
It's fine. If you have a bug bounty program, anything you do is double jeopardy. You can never be hacked. Problem solved.
Semi-seriously, you were talking about asking when. When they say we don't have a plan, comeback question, what will it take for you to get a plan?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering as well.
I
Like
mean-
if you do a pen test and you give them a report and these are the findings and these are the recommended changes, should there be a follow-on to cover CYA of when are you guys planning to do this?
Okay, so one of the vulnerabilities that we're sitting on right now is a vulnerability that we found in a vendor, and we've known about it for, I want to say 3-4 years. And we have non-disclosure agreements and the vendor.
Oh, Discord. What up, Discord?
There we go. We got Discord. And this gets into a problem of we keep finding the vulnerability again and again and again and again. And based on our contracts, we can't talk about it, right, publicly. So we continue to use it again and again and again and again. But once again, because there's no public pressure, that when question is completely moot because they don't care. The only thing they care about is the publicity associated with it, not the fact that the vulnerability itself exists. And that's not just one like vendor. that is something that I think is endemic across the entire industry.
You want to know my hot take on this? And this is probably going to like disagree with almost every pen tester. It's our job as pen testers to show them when they should care. That's my opinion. Like,
And I agree with that, but right up to the point that we are signed with a non-disclosure agreement or whatever the contractual relationships are for our customers, that sucks, right?
sure. I mean, that scenario, I don't think, we can really give guidance on, but like when we're talking about something like this Adobe thing or IE11, those are vastly different things. One is just on someone's internal network. One is like, we can tell you it's public. It's going to be breached within 90 days, probably. So it's our job as pen testers to say, IE11, maybe that's a medium. Yeah, you could get hacked, but it's not public versus like, Adobe vulnerability. It's our job to tell our customers, hey, you are going to be breached with this. First of all, because we already did it and here's the results, right? That's really the best. But even if we don't have the POC, we can still say these exploits in the past have all been breached within 90 days and they're public facing. So get on it right now or firewall it or whatever. That's not the same to me as IE11. That's maybe a hot take, but like to compare those two things, I do think it's our job to be like, you should care about this. You shouldn't care about this.
Can I add to what you're saying? I think sometimes what's lost in translation is the risk story. Sometimes some of us in GRC don't necessarily understand the risk. We read a report and we're like, what does this mean? Or I don't understand. It's one system, but what happens with its multiple hospitals, multiple branches? Sometimes I think if pen test reports were written with a multiplier or with a more clear risk profile, it might be easier for people to understand and act on it.
I want to, I wish I could see into the future whenever I have a difficult debrief meeting because they're really rare. I would say about once every 2 years, I have a debrief meeting with a customer where there's no way that you can ever make it clear, right? Like I talk about the customer that they had 7-character minimum password complexity requirements across their entire organization. And we put it as critical, and they came back and they were basically like, well, PCI says 7 characters is where we should be. And that's all we
Teen Vogue standards.
Yeah, the Teen Vogue standards again, right? We're back to it. And then we have the bullshit from NIST that we were talking about last week. I went back and I reread that because I was like, we have to be missing. No, it sucks.
No,
that
Did you get a response from your email?
No. Don, I have the solution for this. Just send them to me and I can tell you every password you can think of has already been compromised.
Probably.
Like, I'm not joking. I am not joking. Like this.
So, and you go back to that risk conversation. And I think that there's a lot of organizations, like I said, the overwhelming number of our customers, if we're like, this is a high critical risk, they're like, we're on it. But there's that subset. And I know it's a much larger percentage in the community as a whole, where their concept and definition of risk is fundamentally different because they look at it as, what is the reputational risk? Is this going to get public? Can I bury it? Because that's the only thing that they care about. And a clear example of this, there was a pen test that Derek Banks did, and I can't remember who else was on this. And I talked about it in my class this week. It was a power company. We were able to break into the power company. We were able to take control of the power company to the point where we could impact their customers. It was critical. We showed them, hey, this is bad. They were basically like, write it up, we'll get to it. A little bit later in that test, they found an Excel spreadsheet with the salaries of every single executive at that power company. They freaked the hell out. They demanded an immediate halt of the pen test. They wanted to know who had actually seen that Excel spreadsheet. They demanded a non-disclosure agreement from BHIS and every single tester. It was insane. So that risk, as far as like what they consider to be a risk, is really wishy-washy for some organizations.
So what we do is,
and I think they were recently nominated as one of the worst, most insecure nuclear facilities in the world. No, not that company, but
I was going to say what we do is we take that Excel spreadsheet and just put it everywhere.
No, you just don't log it. It's fine. If you don't know who
it was on an S3 bucket, it was wide open. It was
I will say, I think this topic's a little too deep, but the final word I want to say is, I do think as pen testers, we shouldn't be the people that cry wolf. If it's a critical, it should be something I would wake you up in the middle of the night to tell you about. Like, that's my opinion.
Why do you think I pester, harangue, nag our testers over and over and over again?
As a blue teamer who's on call, I hate it.
We have to tell business why this is gonna hurt. How hard is it gonna hurt? And often the only place that we can do that is the executive summary. If we don't tell them why and how this is gonna cost them and hurt their bottom line, then we're not doing our job.
Or just don't
You should
report it as a
teach a
critical.
class on this.
By the way, could you please rephrase that as past tense? Everybody,
I'm
Bronwyn,
still editing reports
Bronwyn is
this
still
week.
editing reports, but she has also moved over to the continuous pen testing team. So a round of applause for that.
Bronwyn, she came to me and she was like, I want to be more evil. And I was like, yes. All right, let's do another article.
Let's bring up another one. Anytime we bring up risk, it goes shoosh
Not the
crazy.
back door.
Yeah, let's talk about the back door, because I will say this is a scenario that's probably come up so many times over the years, and people were like,
Oh, no.
yeah,
Oh, yes.
Okay.
This is one of those news stories that was on major,
Yeah.
and I had family members calling me about it.
well, this is one we probably could have made up, right? Like we could probably make up this article 30 years ago. So the backstory is the NSA or whoever, I don't know what government agency requires this, requires ISPs to basically set up wiretap facilities within their networks for national security reasons. We won't get into the politics of that, but basically these facilities or infrastructure, they do exist. And as we would have made up on the news 30 years ago, we would have said, I'm sure they'll never be breached, ever. And now we have evidence of Chinese hackers, which are going after ISPs, specifically have gained access to these wiretap facilities. And the most concerning part is they actually say in the disclosure that it could have catastrophic, like they use the word catastrophic. Which
Wasn't this the case that the
That's bad.
ISPs put for why they didn't want backdoors?
maybe, I actually don't, I don't know.
I mean,
the
other than
backstory.
like Fourth Amendment stuff, but.
Yeah, I mean,
These facilities are interesting, right? It talks about AT&T, Google, Yahoo. What they do is inside of these telco areas, they actually create something called a SCIF, right? And they use they used to use JFAN 6.3, and a lot of them were built in the JFAN 6.3 compliance standards for a SCIF. And I remember, because I was working tangentially with some of these things years ago, where a lot of these facilities, don't think of it as a SCIF where there's 20 people all dressed like absolute badasses
Secret
in
agents?
suits.
Not
Yeah,
secret
like
agents?
they look like Agent Smith, and they're hacking or whatever. They were literally just kind of oversized closets, right, with classified information or classified communications equipment in it. And one of the concerns that was brought up, and I have no idea what happened with this concern, was you're putting in all these facilities, it's not being manned. A lot of these places don't have somebody that can actually control the access, monitor the access. If you don't have people that are there using it regularly, is it going to be protected properly because it's in the middle of an unclassified area? These were all really, really good questions. And at the time, I vaguely remember, I'd have to talk to CJ about it. CJ's around here somewhere. Like the entire reaction to it was just a meh. As long as we get our equipment in there, what do we care about? So
But then it
this
evolved.
doesn't surprise me all that much.
I feel like it evolved over the years though, right? Because clearly they had, if the data was able to be breached, it wasn't just an offline closet in the corner, right? Clearly they were like, we need this to go into Splunk or I don't know, whatever it was, like, right?
The
Like,
data costs would be astronomical. They definitely put it in out.
Like I
Yeah.
said, I think this should evolve. You're new. There was no evolution. It's
well,
all
then how did it
de-evolution.
get breached?
Sweet spring child.
Okay, so then theorize for me how this would have been breached by a Chinese threat actor. Did someone actually walk into
Okay,
a closet?
excellent question. So when you're looking at these ISPs and you have telco providers, internet service providers, a lot of them will provide ping, power, and pipe, right? You've got data, you've got connectivity, you've got power, you've got a rack, you lock it. So when you go to some of these facilities, you have a massive facility with tons of equipment from a variety of different organizations at various states of security within the racks themselves. Some of the racks are completely exposed. Somebody, let's say, a mom and pop bicycle
You
shop.
mean
they host-
physically?
Yep, they just literally have a rack out in the middle of the room, no security
I worked
whatsoever.
at those data centers.
Yep.
Just a motherboard on a sheet.
Yep. Some of the racks will have a cage that's locked. Some of the racks will have a room that is, you got to spin a a spin lock on it from a security perspective. The walls are like, whatever, it's set to the JFAN 6.3. What are the requirements for the walls, the thickness, the ceiling, the floor, and all of that?
It's a vault.
Are you saying they physically got into the data centers? Is that?
That's, if I had to guess, like if I was thinking about it,
Obviously, we're
I
speculating.
would lean towards, if somebody said, John, break into these places, I would try to end up hosting services in the same facility so I could get people in there, because no one is watching you in many of these facilities. They let you in, they let you do all the stuff with your equipment. The janitor's like, well, you're good. Scruffy's going to be back here watching The Office. And then you're kind of left to your own devices for long periods of time. So if somebody said, John, hack into that, I would go the physical approach and try to do it that way.
Janitor. I was envisioning like a
Stop
mission-
picking on janitors.
Not a janitor, like Mission Impossible, dropping into the data center.
Yeah, I was imagining the same thing. All right.
I wish it was that cool, but no, it's
So do
probably
I.
most likely that even on Air Force bases, trying to get them to care about stuff that like they don't own. Like if you had like secure servers in a like double locked closet in an Air Force facility that wasn't belonging to the comm squadron, they'd be like, oh, that's where we keep the extra chairs. And you're like, why do you have a key to that? And so it can easily become, if it looks like a closet, it becomes a closet. And you're like, well, if I plug into there, I'm on JWICs.
So you're saying they just had a shark tap, walked into the data center, plugged it.
I'm
in.
not-
Without,
I'm
like,
not
gates
joking.
And the guards.
It could be
But
that
it's gotta be
the
like
uniforms,
petabytes of
like-
data. It's petabytes of data, right? You can't just like unplug it, or is that what the
And I'm not worried about the data in this situation. I'm worried about them getting access to the back plane, where the access to the data, like you're thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
And also, how many
Then-
years did they have this access before anyone figured it out?
Okay, so what you're saying is this is the first breach ever that wasn't an exposed S3 bucket? Are you sure? Are you sure you're
All
gonna
right.
go?
It was actually
So
dealer
the-
logs, let them in.
The alternative possibility that I would also throw out there, I mean, there's a bunch of
Because
possibilities.
I will say, well, in the article, it does say they went after, or maybe that was a different article. I thought, was it the
Can you bring it back
password
up?
set one? No, it was a different article. Never mind. There was one where a guy was resetting people's passwords. That was the insider trading one. Never mind. Sorry.
Yeah, so the other thing about this is, if you're looking at intelligence community, there's intelligence the United States can gather, and there's intelligence it can't gather, where you're looking at like a FISA warrant. And a lot of these racks are in there so that they can exercise FISA warrants where people are communicating with quote unquote known bad actors overseas. The other thing is, a lot of these closets are also communicating with like Five Eyes and Three Eyes partners. And it's entirely possible that they were breached in those areas and were able to ride back as well. Basically, one of the things I worked on, it was supposed to be an air gap network. We want to talk about air gapping a little bit later. Any classified network that I worked with where they're like, it's air gap. When we really looked into it, sure as hell wasn't. There was a number of ways in and out. So
So it was a laser through the wall.
a
Impossible.
laser against the glass, reading the vibrations that were created by the modems. I don't know.
Yeah.
John, let's go back to this risk conversation. What is the risk of this happening?
People will know
I
your
don't
browsing
know. I
history.
would have to know the programs, because if it's just FISA data, there's a lot of personal information, but I don't think there's a lot of classified.
No, it's not. It's just all U.S. citizens. Like
All that
here.
information is already online anyway. We're
Yeah,
good.
it's all your data is exposed to anyway. It's been breached multiple times, but
I will say most of it's going to be encrypted, assuming this is a true wiretap. Like I'm imagining it's just like, oh, I went on the core switch and did a mirror report, and that's the wiretap, right? No?
yeah,
that?
but if you
Bring
look at
up
the people
encryption.
associated with it, you had Verizon and all kinds of things in there. There's a lot of cell communications, like
Okay, so you're
it's
saying
more
it's
than
like,
just SSL TLS data to like.
so
porn
cell
web-
tower data could
Yeah.
be location data, which would be really potentially damaging. Private investigators are probably looking all over for this.
Yeah.
Well, it's gonna be encrypted once it hits. And it's once it's transmitting over the wire.
Some of it will be encrypted, but DNS won't. A lot of it won't. Anyway, we're speculating. Let's talk
But it's
about.
fun. This is what we do on the show.
Is there any like stunt hack
We
news?
have little information and we come to solid conclusions.
Okay, let's talk about the insider trading one, because this is like how to be. If you suck at bug bounties, you can make $4 million from insider trading, I guess.
Corey, did you actually read the news articles
this one-
Yes.
beforehand?
I'm sorry, everyone. I read the news articles. I'm sorry. I did a cardinal sin. You're not supposed to read before
This one's a little old. I know about this one.
Yeah, so this is, I mean, if you haven't heard, basically, someone was charged with this. They hacked into big, publicly traded
Big publicly
companies.
traded companies,
And
read some
yeah.
news, and then
But they-
guess what?
Okay, the thing I want to call out is all they did was reset the passwords of senior directors. Like, I'm assuming it was help desk social
What-
engineering.
With this, they classify this as insider trading. Wouldn't this be like next person trading, right? 'Cause
Okay.
He technically doesn't work there. He's like,
Well, I mean, it's definitely insider trading. There is a couple of questions I have for Kelly. So this is a citizen of the
I
UK.
didn't do it, Corey.
Okay,
The UK
that
citizen.
was not the question. If you had $4 million, I know you'd be on a beach somewhere.
I love how they're like, he used VPNs, he bounced through multiple systems, he used anonymizers, but we were still able to track him. And you're gonna find out eventually it's because he posted it on Twitter.
No,
He's on
my,
board.
my question
TikTok.
is, so this is a UK citizen. How can the SEC charge a UK citizen? Is that?
Well, the US government
Yes.
like charges and indicts people.
We
all
have
over the
memos
world.
of
Did we
understanding,
read like those
not
14
problem.
You
Ukrainians?
think there's
or
going to be
Russians?
extradition?
Barely an inconvenience.
No.
Barely an inconvenience.
Batman swoops in, picks him up, pulls the balloon, and the airplane flies.
Like,
over.
frankly, isn't this the best thing he could have done? He could have like ransomed these companies. Instead, he's like, oh, they're about to do a merger.
Okay,
Yeah,
he could have
I'm
just
just gonna
done a
like
bug-
double down on those.
Could have just done a bug bounty if he hacked him, and that's got to be worth.
Like, like 4 million? Good
4
bounty.
million is a little high for bug bounty, maybe.
4 million for 5 companies.
14
That's actually
companies
like a
for 5
pretty good
companies?
return.
Pretty good at insider trading. We
Right?
should hire him.
Like,
I just, every time these stories come up and like this guy made 3.75 million or whatever it was, I wonder how many legit infosec professionals that are toiling away for $78,000 and they're like 40 years old with no retirement. And they're like, why didn't I choose a life
Well,
of crime?
okay.
We need a
think
dire
about that every
straits.
day.
We need a dire straits like song that's money for nothing, but it's all about I should have gone into illicit hacking
what would your
instead of moving
ransomware group
microwave
be?
ovens.
Like, what would you name your ransomware group, John?
What?
What would you name your ransomware group?
Black Hills information. No way.
No, you go White Hills, throw them off.
I don't know what I
White
would name
Valley?
it. It's like, yeah,
Okay,
put
it's
me
the
on the
street-
spot. I gotta come up
I
with
gotta
a
ask
name.
Jason.
John,
Jason
it's
names
the
them.
street-
I would call it Tiger Panda. How's that?
That's
No, it's got to be the street you grew up on and your like first band name or something. It's one of
your
those.
first dog's name.
And the
Rosalie Godot.
I like it.
Actually, that worked out. That worked out surprisingly well. Very good.
And I successfully harvested John's information on.
You did. What's the street you grew up on? Shit.
It's not a street in South Dakota.
That was in the bank
It's
account.
more of an area. It's a pasture, not a street. All right, another article. How much time do we have? Where are we?
I don't know what's
Coming up on the top of the
Where are
hour.
we?
Got some more stuff coming up.
We're keeping track of
I
time.
want like a stunt hack of like someone stealing chicken wings or something.
Do the air gap one.
Yeah, we need some stuff.
Okay, we should talk about the Marriott one. Kelly brought that up earlier. Let's talk.
That was up above.
We didn't talk about it enough.
The people have been sitting here. They've heard.
No, wait, there's something about Legos.
No, go back down.
Legos.
Back down.
Something about Legos.
Oh yeah, back up.
Imagine how hard. Imagine how hard.
Oh my
All right, here we
god.
go.
Legos been
So this is for
So
everyone
what-
watching.
What kind of asshole hacks Lego?
Okay, hold on. For everyone watching, this is what we do during the real news.
Oh, Zach exhibit.
We just read the articles. We just
We
read
need
the
to read
articles
that.
when they come on screen. We do no prep. for
So
them.
my wife asked me like if you could work infosec for anyone, who would you work for? And it took me a long time when I realized it would probably be Lego.
Dude, they have no security infrastructure.
Now they're gonna hire me. I'm in.
So, okay, someone hacked Lego and they used it to promote crypto. That's such a lame thing to do if you hack someone's website.
Yeah, come on.
Oh, lame.
Come on, be interesting. People have done that
Yeah,
with
I
Twitter.
Just
Coins.
send yourself so many Lego kits. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
Yeah, right. Send yourself
Be like,
Lego
and
kits.
I'm done.
That's way cooler. A promo code for $0 Lego kits.
I gotta be honest, reading an article going through a Twitter fight is worse than actually reading the Twitter fight on Twitter.
See, now, if you'd gotten into Lego, the thing he should have done was had all of the super rare Lego kits
Release.
shipped
Yeah.
so that he could sell them on eBay
That's insider trading. You can't do that. No, I'm just kidding.
What?
We will catch you immediately.
Busy care.
Jonathan, where's my blasting cap Lego? I don't know. So,
The one thing I want to mention, if their website was hacked, why did it affect all their infrastructure? That's very concerning. Like
This is the same cert across.
dude,
the
it's all
entire-
connected by little
they were like, well, how does shipping work? Oh, it's on the website. How does invoicing work? Also on the website. How
Oh,
does
they
email
don't
work?
actually check
Oh,
onto
it's
the website.
yeah, email server also on the website.
all right. All right. Well, we need to wrap it up, everybody. I want to say thank you so much for all of you that came up on stage. Round of applause for them.
Oh, no, that was horrible.
And as fun as this was, this is not the most important thing we have going on. You just give us a couple of minutes. We're going to reorganize the stage. Don't go anywhere. We have the pub crawl coming up here in just a little bit, and we have something very special before we start the pub
I
crawl.
was really scared. I thought you were gonna make me do my keynote now. I didn't finish the slides yet.
Yeah, no, we're done. So after the pub crawl, we do have open mic night across the street at the Elks. And whose slide is it anyway? Hey, whose slide is it anyway? Is it tonight? Tomorrow night, but we keep the gong up here as a reminder. Yeah, there we go. All right. So sit tight, everybody. And once again, a round of applause for the AV crew and the Wild West Talkin Press crew for putting this on. They've just been working their asses off for days on this. So we're going to do a quick reassembling of the stage. So sit tight.